Hi, my name's Andrew, and today we're going to Reka giant prickly pear jelly. Prickly Pears. What I have today is 10 pounds of giant prickly pears.
It's the Prickly Pears, man.
3/4 of a cup of lemon juice, 150 grams of powdered pectin, and 8 cups of granulated sugar. Also, you're going to need to have enough water to cover the prickly pears once they're in the stock pot. Now, for those of you who've been watching along and that you've seen my previous prickly pear video, you will notice the prickly pears I have today are like 4 or 5 times bigger than the ones I was working with. So I've got a hold of these and I've prepped them, removing all of the prickles, or at least most of them. For sure I'm gonna have a couple on my fingers by the end of this.
It happens.
But I've got most of them burnt off and prepped, and I froze these overnight. When you unfreeze it, you've got the juices. You can see it's already readily coming out of the fruit without me trying to do anything. So I've prepped these. You can see how to prep these in a previous video, and I'm just gonna sit them inside the stock pot. We're gonna get busy here. We're gonna cover these prickly pears with just enough water where there's maybe, one knuckles height above the prickly pears loaded in the stock pot. And then we're going to start to boil that. We're gonna bring it to a rolling boil. Once the rolling boil has taken place, we will then mash the remaining fruit in the pot, because we want to transfer all the flavor and the sugars last prickly pear. Okay, now we're going to start loading the stock pot with distilled water. Yeah, I'm happy with that. So that is 24 cups of water in total. Okay, so we have our stock pot full of water. We have our little convection hot plate set up on top here. And we're gonna put the lid on. Let's get cooking. Now it's time to mash. So now that I have mashed all of those solid prickly pear halves, or otherwise known as doonas, spelt like tuna fish, but it's pronounced tuna, like it's got a D. I'm gonna now strain out all the solids, and we're gonna move to the next phase. What I have here is I have a smaller saucepan, I have a sieve strainer, and I have some cheesecloth. Okay, I'm gonna place the cheesecloth in the sieve. So there's essentially 2 layers of filtering.
Double skim, double vac.
And I am going to use this Pyrex and get 4 cups at a time. You can see it's very, very red. The American Indians actually used to use this particular fruit as part of their dye for the coloring their garments and their leathers. I don't want any solids going through, and I want to make sure that I catch any of the remaining little needle prickles that came off the actual fruits. So there's all the waste coming out now. So I've strained out all of the prickly pear. I've got all of the solids out. They've gone both through the colander sieve with the cheesecloth.
Double skim, double vac.
So I'm gonna add the lemon juice to the mix. I'm gonna bring it up to temperature and continue to mix in the pectin, followed by the sugar, and then we will bring it up to a heavy rolling boil for a few minutes. And once that's done, we will then move towards bottling. While all this is happening, I'm gonna be bringing all of my mason jars my jam jars, my mason jars, all of those are gonna be getting warmed up as well. Okay, so my mixture's been rolling pretty good. So what I'm gonna do right now is I'm gonna show you, this has been now cooking off in a rolling boil for a while. Okay, so we are gonna fill a couple of our mason jars right now. I've preheated these jars. Ooh, that's hot. I should be holding a rag. Don't do this at home, kids.
Warning.
Risking it for the brisket. Prickly pear jelly. Doesn't that color just look amazing? Look at that color.
Would you look at that?
Number 3. Look at that.
Look at that.
Now I've just boiled these so they're fully sanitized, and this little red ring here has been activated, which is going to work with us on the ceiling. I'm not too worried. Some people get really excited about drying them off. It doesn't really matter too much. Okay, so I'm just going to work on giving these a really solid tighten. Now, I know you can get all kinds of fancy tools. We use this towel, tried and true for hundreds of years. Now, we can proof these in another tall stock pot. You just fill up where the water just covers the top and you can cook it off some more. I personally am not going to do that. I have so much heat here that as this cools down, see this little shore tight seal here? It is going, we're going to hear just these all go like popcorn, and you're just going to hear, you're going to hear it suck, because as the heat contracts and it cools and it chills, the air will shrink and it will suck the seal. Prickly pear jelly, guys, we did it, we got there. I'm sure if you try this at home, you're going to have a blast. Hope you've enjoyed this. Remember, like, subscribe, and share, and please hit the notification button, and we'll see you for the next Reka video.